You're an agriculture farming community.
I know.
Here, take the phone. This is part 2 of the Rollins estate controversial problem at hand.
Yeah.
Finish up what you was talking about.
Anyway, my father wanted her to consolidate all the debts, all the assets, everything, get it in her name so there'd be no arguments about anything or whatever, and then she could distribute it equally to the other two parties, myself and my older brother. Well, subsequently, she has chosen to keep it all for herself. It's all in my name. It's all mine. These are the words that are coming out of her mouth. And I says, my father would not have left me with nothing. And she says, no, you get nothing. Don't take anything, don't steal anything from here or anything. So I haven't. I've done everything that I need to civilly. And I've gone to a lawyer, talked to him. I've gone to her lawyers, talked to them. Each one of them tell me the same crap. Oh, it's all in her name. You're at her mercy. Well, yeah, she's the executor. So what do? You replace the executor. I had to go to a lawyer to try to do that. Today I have another appointment to go see him because she's trying to throw me out of the house, which she says I'm not legally right to be there. Well, if I'm your brother and that was our father's house, I think I got a legal right.
Not only that, but look at what happened to the degree of how that they ever obtained the money to be able to buy the house.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was in part 1.
Right, that was in part 1, but the fact is...
I don't need to harp about that.
Well, I
can go on and go forward.
You're not harping, but you're trying to advise your viewers off of my Facebook channel.
Well, I'll tell you,
proper reasoning in behind all this.
I'll tell you what. Anybody who decides to make a will, make a video will, and give it to the descendants, the heirs, but not the executor. This way, they can govern what the executor does. And if they do anything out of character that's not on that tape from the person that made the will, then you can hang them high. But other than that, you're screwed.
Right. I want to bring up
and you got to go the long route.
I want to bring up a positive fact here.
Shoot.
I got acquainted with y'all.
Yeah.
In 2014, the year that I come back here.
Okay.
Because David already had a relationship with Mr. Rollins and Sheila, because Sheila used to rent from us.
Oh, yeah.
Down here at 430 Beach Grove Road. So that's
right.
How we got familiar. Plus, your father was an instrumentalist. My father was an instrumentalist. And birds of a feather kind of flock together in that regard.
Yeah. And as far as my sister living down there by you guys, the only reason she was living down here by you guys is because my mother ran across her and her daughter smoking meth on the property before she had the job with the state, before she had the job with the county.
And that may be right. I don't know. I don't know the particulars because I personally didn't know Miss Sheila or your father until after I come back here in 2014.
Right.
The only thing that I can validate towards what that I have seen and what that I know is that yes, your father was a gentleman. Your father was a man of his word. Your father was a good person. Matter of fact, I was one of the last few people that prayed with your father and for your father up there at Martin Baptist Church before he passed away later on that morning. I can validate that your father loved you dearly.
I know.
And I can validate that your father would have intended for you to have been treated fairly and just. And from what I have witnessed just within the past 5 or 6 months, they have turned on you like turning on a biting dog.
Oh, yeah.
And you're being treated right now like a red-haired stepchild, or less than.
Less than.
Pertaining to your legal rights. And now they're trying to manipulate you off of the property by weaponizing the property and by basically
Well, you know how
blackmailing you that if you don't do certain things for them, then they're going to retaliate towards you, going to be basically a slave in your own home. A matter of fact, don't you have your own door locked that you, every time you leave your bedroom just to go to the bathroom or go to the kitchen, you got to lock the door? Whenever you unlock the door to go into your bedroom, don't you have to relock the door? Well, now it's reached the point that you're actually frightened of your well-being, not knowing if somebody's going to try to poison you or come at you with an axe or a baseball bat. It's reached a point that it needs to be brought to the authorities pertaining to your well-being.
Yeah, well, go ahead. If I try to even call a cop or whatever, first thing they're going to do is they're going to find out she's the homeowner, because in January, she had the house changed over in her name and her name only.
Right.
And it shouldn't have been that way.
Right.
And
she has manipulated the will.
The system.
She has manipulated her legal authority.
Yep.
And now she's trying to hold you hostage because you're not a biological family member, but you are more of a legal family member. But either or, it's still recognized in the state of Tennessee that you have just as much of a right
as a natural born child.
Right.
In the family.
Right.
But see, she's screwing my older brother out of it too. Yeah,
right.
Towing the trucks out of there.
Right. So it's become disheartening, hasn't it?
She's created the whole entire property. There it is, yeah. She's created the whole entire property because she's got her daughter there, and her daughter is nuts. I mean,